welcome back to part 2 of our Cooling Down Challenge series. Last time we discussed several areas in our lives and our spiritual life that we tend to cool down in. We talked about church. We talked about tithing. And then we wrapped it up with not really trying to make that break from sin in our life, and just thinking, if I sin, I have grace, so it's okay, but it's not really okay because it says that we are, to be cut off from sin. Does that mean we are going to sin? Of course not. I mean, not continue to sin? Of course not. We're human. We're all going to sin. But we need to make a daily conscious effort not to sin. And not to say, oh, well, I sinned, so I'll just pray to God and He'll forgive me and everything's all right. I mean, that's not the salvation that Jesus calls us into. It's not the kind of life Jesus calls us into. So today we're just going to keep plugging right along here with some of these different things that areas that I've just discovered and have meditated on, and I feel like the Lord is calling me to share. Another area when we kind of cool down is we tend to try to please both the church and the world. We tend to care more what people think of our outsides and not what God thinks of our insides. We just tend to, it's like we're intermingling both, the world with, it's more like our faith sometimes is like 90% worldly with a 10% of sprinkling of Jesus in the mix. And that's not true. That's not the way it should be. It should be 100% Jesus all the time. It says we are in the world, but we're not supposed to be of the world because we are set apart. We are supposed to be a city on a hill. A city on a hill, like Toby Mac says, we're a city on a hill. We need to get to that place where we can be a beacon for Jesus. We can be a light for Jesus. I don't want to be one of those guys that, didn't store up his oil, and then when the master came, I'm begging somebody else for some of the oil, and they're saying, too bad. We saved up our oil. We did what the master told us to do. We stayed pure. We stayed full. We stayed on fire for God. We didn't let our lamps burn out. And I just, I want Jesus to find me burning hotter than ever, every day. Does that always happen? Absolutely not. Do I need to recharge all the time? Absolutely. But that's what's so great about Jesus is you just call out to Him and say, Jesus, I haven't been what You created me to be, and I want to get back to that, Lord. I want to just have more of You in me. There's a popular Christian song that says, out there that says, empty me of me and pour You into me so there'll be more of You. Empty me and bring in more of You. That's what we need to do, We need to put more of God back into it and more concerned about pleasing God than pleasing the world, because the world's not going to, the world really, just like in worldly relationships or worldly things, I just think so many times when I was before I was saved, I used to hang out with these guys all the time. We would just do worldly things. We would, go to bars and hang out, and but when I got saved, I haven't heard once from these guys, any of them. I've tried to reach out to them, no response, and that's been over almost 4 years now. So the world really doesn't, they don't care about you really. It just wants to run you over, and it wants to destroy you like the thief. It just wants to destroy you, and when you turn to your ways and you turn to Jesus, it does get tough because you do lose a lot of friends and you do lose a lot of important relationships that you felt that were important when you were in the world. But with Jesus, you start to realize what's really important is to be a leader and to be a witness for them, and you can't make them believe, you can't make them listen, but you can sure show them just by living your life the way Jesus wants you to live. You know, it's so hard nowadays. You know, a lot of unsaved kids that I talk to a lot all the time say, you know, I couldn't tell a Christian kid from a worldly kid anymore. You just can't. I mean, they can't differentiate the two. So if they can't realize that there's a difference, why are they going to change? Why are they going to accept Jesus when they think, oh, I can believe in Jesus and don't have to change anything? That's absolutely not what God says. God says we are a new creation. The old life has passed away. You know, we are a new life in Christ. We are crucified with Christ. We are raised up to be a city on a hill, you know, and we can't be that way if we're not passionate about our witness, if we're not passionate about, you know, caring what God thinks and not caring about what the world thinks. Sometimes I think we get that inverted. You know, it feels like, you know, it's like in Revelation chapter 3, verse 1, it says, I know all the things you do, and you have a reputation for being alive on the outside, but God knows your heart. If you're not passionate for Him on the inside, you know, like I was reading, you know, today in 1 Corinthians, where it talks about love. It says, if you have the faith to tell a mountain to go jump and it jumps, but you don't have love to back it up, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything, because love is the first commandment. It says, you know, we are to love the Lord our God with all our soul, heart, and mind. And that's a word to love our neighbors. You know, and the way of loving our neighbors is to be a witness for our neighbors. Is to be, you know, not different. I'm not trying to say that we should be, you know, like I'm better than anybody else, because absolutely we're all nobody's better than anybody. You know, but we are called to be different. We are called to be, you know, the church of God. We are called to be God's hands and His feet and His mouth and His ears and His eyes and His everything for God. You know, so just always remember that when you do stuff, don't do it for men's benefit. Do it for God's benefit, because that's really ultimately, you know, who we will answer to for someday. We're not going to answer to the guys down the street. We're not going to answer to, you know, our friends. We're not going to answer to those who ridicule us. And when we think, oh, no, I'm not listening to that guy, you know, that's a whole nother sermon in itself, because sometimes I get into that trap. I'm like, man, that guy just talked about me. That guy just said something I don't like. I'm not going to talk to him, God. But then God has to check me and say, you know what? When you were in your junk, that guy that led you to me, that witnessed to you, he didn't have to talk to you. He didn't have to share his testimony with you. But he did, and he chose to. So just always remember, we need to be passionate about that. Be passionate about just witnessing to people for Jesus, you know, and telling people about Jesus. And you know, I think so many times, too, on a side note, when we witness to people, I think all too often we try to make people feel bad that they don't know Jesus, and we can't do that either. That's not what Jesus calls. Jesus calls us with love. You know, and he calls us with a life of love and grace and fortitude and just honor, you know, and we just need to, you know, love people and let them know that the love of Jesus can get them through anything. We don't need to beat people up with Jesus. I see that all too often where, you know, somebody says, oh, you're going to hell if you don't believe in Jesus. Well, okay. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but man, who wants to be in a faith where they're scared all the time? That's not what Jesus calls us to be. Jesus doesn't give us a spirit of fear. He gives us a spirit of I can do it, a spirit of confidence, a spirit of love. He doesn't give us that spirit of fear. I mean, yes, we do need to be very much aware that there is a hell and that you know, it is a real place, but we need to take that and not be fearful. We need to take that and be compassionate and say, you know what, I don't want my friends to go there. I don't want my family to go there. I don't want my neighbors to go there. I don't want people anywhere around the world to go there. You know, I like for the devil to go to hell one day and say hello and hear an echo. That's what I like to hear. I like to hear him go, hello, 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 because there's nobody there. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I mean, because, that's just, people have choices. Some people have made the choice not to believe, and that's unfortunate. It just breaks my heart, and it's sad, but, but we need to, from this moment on, we need to be passionate about reaching out to people and excited about it, because, I used to be nervous and say, oh, nobody's going to listen, nobody's going to care. But now that I've been doing it more, I've been sharing, I have this one gentleman that me and him have been talking for like 2 weeks, and I can see the hunger growing in him. I can see the questions coming and answers being answered and questions being raised and answered and lives being changed, and this guy's life is just being transformed. I mean, it's just amazing that, he was so mean and just so bitter about, his life and his situations, but now he's laughing again, he's joking around, he's talking about, how he reads his Bible now and how he just, he hasn't made the commitment to the Lord yet, but that door has been open. And if I just, wasn't passionate about my witness for him, who knows, what he could be going through right now. So we just need to be excited about that. It's just so exciting when you allow God to work in your life and you just see it going, which, I'm going to wrap up this show with, on that point. It says when we go through that cool down period of our faith, we rarely ought to share our faith with others, We forget that that's our number one commission, is to go out and make disciples of the world. We become worried about rejection, we let the rejection of the world, interfere with our witness because we're afraid, they're going to reject us, we don't like, this is the one that really gets me, is we don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. Okay, yeah, you're right, we don't want to scare them into loving Jesus, absolutely not. But we want to be able to share it to where they can say, I don't know. A lot of people will say, if you died right now, if you died right now, are you sure you would go to heaven? I mean, a lot of people will say, I don't know. And what's really sad is, I've had some Christian friends of mine say that to me, say, I hope I go to heaven. I hope I'm forgiven. Hope? I don't think Jesus said, man, I hope I get to go to the cross. I hope my sacrifice covers all their sins. Jesus never said that. You never heard Jesus say, I hope. We know he died so we could have the assurance. We could have the absolute 100% assurance that we are saved by grace and that we will stand with Jesus one day in heaven for all eternity. And we should take that excitement and we should just run with it. And who cares what people say? You know what Jesus said in the Bible is that if they reject you, remember they rejected me first. If they hate you, they hated me first. So we're not greater than the Master. We're not greater than Jesus. So if Jesus got humiliated and rejected, why are we saying that we're not going to do it because we're afraid to get rejected? I mean, it should be, it just should be a passion for us to share our faith with others. Matthew 10, chapter 10, verses 32 and 33 state, everyone who acknowledges me publicly here on earth, I will also acknowledge before my Father in heaven. But everyone who denies me here on earth, I will also deny before my Father. Just be passionate. Just say, yeah, I love Jesus. I'm Jesus freak. That's the way I am. That's the way I am. I take a lot of grief at work sometimes because of my faith, and I get called the Bible thumper, holy roller, here comes preacher man, But that's not going to deter me. That's just the devil trying to deter me, and I'm not going to let him have a victory in that. Because every time I let him have a victory in that, that's another defeat for a lost soul out there. And I'm not going to have that, and I'm not going to, have that in my life, because, we just need to be completely passionate about that. So just remember as you go through the week, in those areas that we mentioned, just pray to God once again, get on your knees, or get into your word. When I get excited or sad about something, he gives me an appetite to read the Bible. So I just love to get in the Bible, read it, learn it, go through these verses again that I've mentioned today, and we'll see you again. And until next time, have a good day. We love you down East to West.